With the just being like looseness, being away from you.
Good. Yeah, we've been doing in like sort of segregated areas. We've been doing off leash, and she's pretty good with that.
Okay, like off leash, off leash.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're yeah. When you do that, are you just letting her be free, or are you like practicing as well, or?
Like a mix.
Okay, sure. Okay. Is there anything that you think she's having trouble with?
She's getting more comfortable with the collar, which means she's getting more like barky and more commanding when she's wearing it, which she hasn't been before.
Sure.
And so just like if she sees a dog she really doesn't like, then
The reactivity?
she'll be much more, yeah.
Okay. When are you seeing that? Like on a walk or?
Like today it was, just walking down the street with the Shih Tzu. Like, she'll kind of seem almost interested, like she wants to say hello, but then she'll like just turn on and down when she doesn't like the dog.
Okay. What was the dog's energy like?
I think questioning. Like they were both sort of like
standoffish. Okay, sure. So that could be potentially part of it. Because if she sees distrust from the other dog, then it can cause distrust from her as well. When else have you seen it?
Still more with other dogs, but just kind of more prevalent now that she's sort of used to the collar.
Okay.
She lets that side of her personality out more.
Okay. And what's your number typically?
Like 60.
60? Okay. So like when she starts barking, how do you address it?
I just usually tap.
Okay.
Like keep on.
Okay. And how does it stop her right away? Does she like still look kind of tense?
It like makes her stop and think, but she's like still kind of.
Why did they go? Okay. Have you raised the level at all for that stuff?
Usually it's so fast that we.
Okay. Whenever she's barking, are you always stationed? I mean, are you always like moving? It's a mix. So even if you're like standing aside, you'll still potentially see it. Okay. Are you seeing any signs prior to the?
Only that she's very aware of it.
Okay. Have you tried tapping in that moment? So with the reactivity, people tend to wait till like the dog's already barking, and typically there's some kind of precursor in the behavior, the change of the behavior. As that's when I would actually want to tap, ideally. It's easier to catch before the barking, because now once she's barking, she's already like kind of agitated. And then what I would do is I would experiment with a higher number. So like if you see a dog approaching, I'd already be like at 70 or something, like just a little bit higher. And then if you see like on 70, when you see the thought and you tap her, she like right away stops and like goes to you and there's no problem, then I try that the next time. And if I see consistency with it, then I just keep using that. Otherwise, if you feel like it's like kind of hit or miss, then I'd raise it 75, 80, just in preparation for when you're gonna come across the dog. And then afterwards, you just go back down to your normal number, okay? And what we should see is a decline in the behavior. So it's not uncommon that a dog will get, not so much used to the collar, but they just they get kind of tough to it. And then it's almost always just raising that number to remind them, like, that there's more behind it than just what it is. And then you should come down to like a resting range of like, whenever you see a dog, it might be like 85 or something, but then on her regular obedience it's like 60, because I think she also had a moment where she like ran or something, right, last week, and then I think you have to raise it, I think it was 70 or so, and then that's when she like listened. So it's very similar to that situation. She's escalated, or her brain is stimulated, that it needs a little bit more power to cut through. So I try that out for this next week, okay? Anything else? Okay, so and with the reactivity stuff, would you say it's like like on a daily basis, or just kind of like every now and then you might see it?
I would say every now and then.
Okay. Yeah. So I would just raise a number whenever you're gonna come across a dog, and just assume it's gonna happen. So you're already there. And if she gives you any sign, and if you think, like, and if you're not sure, maybe you're like, I think this might be something. Chances are you should just cat. Okay. Because if you're not too sure if it's a part of it, that's actually like your gut telling you like, yeah, this is most likely going to escalate. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's all.
Anything obedience-wise that you feel like she needs work on?
I think it's just like with the return, I feel pretty comfortable like with runners and like people on little motorbikes.
Oh, sure.
Like she'll look at me first. Like I know she wants to bark at them. But
Okay.
she'll look at me first. But with like skateboarders,
She's still
we don't see them that frequently.
sure.
So,
And have you gone higher to try to stop that?
yeah.
How was the highest you've gone?
I think like 80 to 85 or something.
80, 85?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you see any response from her?
Yeah, she usually but it's like it's so fast and so infrequent that there isn't really time for that.
Right. You have a skateboard, Enrique? I used to carry one in my trunk for these cases, but I don't have it anymore. Okay. With the skateboarders, I mean, I would do controlled context, which is there's a park downtown by Roosevelt in Michigan, by the Walking Legs, and just walking her around there to come across. So what you would do, like, if you brought her to the situation, it's technically going to be easier to address, but it'll kind of put it in her head, like the foundation of I don't bark at skateboarders. The hardest part is always when you're away, like, you know, in your neighborhood and you see the one-off skateboarder that she becomes reactive. That's almost always harder. Okay, but at least with the if you work with the controlled context, you're setting in her brain that you will and can shut her down, but it'll also give you an idea of like what the range is. So I know you said 80, 85, but then you also said like she usually gets the message. So, and I want her to just get the message. Okay, so don't be surprised if you're like 90 or 95 or so. You know, it can happen. Like you might even be up with 127 before, because you're trying not just stop the behavior, but stopping it and teaching her to like not do it again. Okay, so that's why there's more power. Otherwise, if you stop it, but every time she's lunging and barking, like you just have enough to stop it, but not enough for her that she retains that lesson. Okay? Anything else? Okay, so this week, reactivity, you know, going to 70 or so, seeing how that does for her, and you should see like, oh wow, like she hasn't barked at a dog for a week or 2 weeks. That should be a very big gap in her behavior in terms of lunging towards or being reactive towards dogs. And for the skateboarders, I know they're random around here, but if you want more of a controlled context, then I'd go like, you know, South Loop, whatever, walk around the skate park just to get an idea of like what the number may be, and then to get the foundation in for her, and then see how it affects her here. Okay. And the easiest thing for reactivity is always just to step aside, put her in a sitting position, shorten your leash, and then watch her behavior. So if like she's panting and then she starts to pucker her mouth, like that's a sign that she's gonna possibly start barking or whatever. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll pop her on a long leash, and then I'll have you just review how you've been practicing. We'll take it from there. All right, go. get an off-leash dog over here. And what have you practiced with her with no leash? What have you been practicing? Okay. Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. Yeah. So go ahead and just show me what you've been working on, and we'll take it from there. Good. 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 So the only reason why she made that mistake over there, going to tap it and step her over to where she was. So you didn't release her, right? Yeah. So we'll correct that. Yeah. That kid howling made her nervous. When she broke position over there was when you were walking, you acted like you had a little too much tension in the leash, so it nudged her forward. So that's why she started following you. Okay. Otherwise, all the other ones are pretty good. Okay. Up. Let me think here. Yep. Better. Good. How are her downs? Okay. Go to cue her down. Good. Go and give her a sit. Good. Down. Right, tap. There you go. Good. I'm gonna have you go ahead and release her, and then practice a couple of correct tap. There we go. We're gonna practice a couple of these downs, okay? Just to see, yep, 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 nose, yeah, just get them to be a bit more, yep, 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 there we go, good, yep, 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 hold right there, yep, yep, and what's your number right now?
60.
Okay, yep, yep, good, wait a moment, go to release, okay, good, we're going to do a few of those. From no particular, like no heel, none of that stuff, just whenever you want to keep her down.
Down.
Right, good. Good. Right. Good.
Down.
Good. Good. We're going to do a couple more. Good. Now what we're going to do is same thing, you're going to cue those downs. You're going to start walking away from her just to help her because she was breaking so much earlier. I think something here in the environment is making her a bit more nervous. So we're going to see if we can get her to hold it as we move around, okay? Perfect. Tap, tap, yep, good, feet are back, tap. Good. Great. Okay, we'll try two more. All right. we're gonna, very similar to the emergency sits when you would do the sit and then pivot out. We're gonna do the same thing, except you're gonna cue the down like you were, but you're gonna pivot out. And if she ends up sitting, because that's what she's used to, is you're gonna actually step in when you tap, and you should start to see her lay down, and then you'll immediately move backwards the moment you see her do that. Okay?
Okay, great.
Now step in, tap, wait a moment, now back away. Good. Let me give it a little tug. There she goes, that a girl. Step in, tap, wait a moment, now back. There you go. Step in, tap, wait, tap, wait a moment, get back away, girl. Good. We'll do a couple more.
Great.
Right? There she goes, add a girl. Good, one more. Good. Girl. What's your number again? 60?
We're at 60.
You're at 60? Okay. Good job. What we're gonna do, we'll bump it. We're gonna go to like 65. We're gonna see if we can get those downs to be a little quicker. She's getting the concept, right? Like she is stopping, and then when you do that step in, she is like, more often than not getting the idea of like I'm supposed to go into this position. I'm trying to make it a bit more smoother. So those two things, the emergency sits and the emergency downs, they look, we practice them very much the same, but we need this, we do the sits first to help teach the dog how to put brakes on when they're moving, and then we progress that towards this kind, okay? So that's gonna be like the final thing that we have to add into your repertoire, and then it's just blending sits, down, stay, heel, come, place, and then like the sits and downs in between things to really cement the concept of what each command is in her brain. But she's doing really good so far. I'm liking that she's, stopping, and then once you tap and step in, she is, for the most part, going into that down. But we're trying to get a very fluid and straightforward. Once you cue the word, she's already going into that position, okay? So we're gonna repeat it, and we're gonna see if maybe the higher number. So when you do the down, when you say down and you pivot out into the tap as well, to see if that'll push her into the behavior, and then do your movement back, okay? Good girl. Step in, tap. Now back. Yep, tap. Let's try 70. Better. Fine, good girl, good. Good girl. Better, a little better. Atta girl. Yep. There he goes. Almost. Step in. There she goes. Good girl, good girl. Atta girl. Good. Good. Let's go to 73. Give her a couple of, we're gonna give her a minute or so to rest. Kind of go through that. But one of them she went straight into it, which is good. One she went into it with a little bit of a delay, but it was pretty straightforward. So we're just raising that number a little bit to see if we can find a level that will just push her into it right away, so that we get more consistent responses from her. Okay? Go ahead and release. Good girl. Go ahead and just do a little bit of heel. No emergency sits, just heel and come and go stop and turning. Good. One more little heel. Tap, tap. Good. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Good. You're going to go in and release, and then you're going to go into those downs again. Step in. There we go. Now awake. Good. Better. Good girl. Good. Nice. Very good. We'll do one more. Good. Go ahead and let your leash go slack, and I'll have you walk towards this way. There we go. Good. So we just went to 73 there. You see how those start to get a lot more, start going to position right away. So it's just finding a number that was going to make her, make it click in her brain of like to go straight into it. Okay. The other thing is we're drilling these out.
Yeah.
So whenever you're trying to improve something, whether it's the speed of a recall or like how fast she auto sits, whatever, what I'll do is I'll take that behavior and just isolate it, and then repeat, and then play with the number. So I start getting the result that I'm looking for, that's what I wanted. I wanted a much more straightforward down, then she would go more so into it, whereas earlier she was sitting, and then she was laying down, and now we're skipping that sitting step, which is for the most part, yep, tap, walk towards her, tap, 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 hold right there, tap, now step away, good. Now she's skipping that sitting step and going straight into the down, okay? So now, we take a break, I have Linnie away from you, you're over here, so start pressing the, I'm gonna down you, but not always be immediately next to you, okay? So like earlier, when you first started doing the downs, for whatever reason, she just kept getting up and getting up and getting up and getting up. So that's why we focused on fixing that first. Had we not put in the time to fix that, we wouldn't have been able to do like the stuff that we're doing here, okay? Because she wasn't getting it, she kept wanting to move. So we have to fix that problem before we could work on the emergency downs. And now here I go, okay, take a little break. And we're kind of revisiting the problem we had earlier, which was she wouldn't hold the position, okay? So this is, with our obedience, you can make things more complicated simply by where you place things, okay? So most obedience is practiced at like, heel, come, heel, sit, stay, come, heel, sit, stay, come, whatever. And I make it more complex simply by where I put it in the commands. Like right now, if you're walking with Linnie and all of a sudden you sit, right? Like she's not expecting that. Now, realistically speaking, like it's a fancier thing, but I'm doing this more so for the emergency situation. So whenever you're working with her, you can throw it in because there might be a context where recall wouldn't be the best solution. And that's typically when Linnie's asked something, like if she's across the street, you don't want to do recall because then particularly when you're into the street, you need something that's going to plant her, so that's the way you can get to her. Right? So that's where stationary stuff comes into play, and also why when you're doing the recalls from the sits and stuff, if she's learned that behavior, so I would like never do an emergency down and then do a recall with it, because if you're using that down in real life, you're not wanting her to make a mistake coming back. You're wanting her to stay put until you get there, so that you can get her back under control, restop, whatever, and not wanting her to think like the mom calling me and then run towards the street. Okay? So definitely with this, I wouldn't do a recall from the emergency down. I'd always go back and either release her at her side or then put her into the next command. Okay? Questions so far? So we're going to do another round of 5 to see if she gets it even more quickly. We'll keep it at the 73 because she seems to be pretty good with that. Right? So whenever you're ready, go back to her side. There you go. Wait, yep. Turn, tap. Or did you release her? Atta girl. Break, girl. Right. Face. Good. Let's try 2 more. think here. I'm gonna cap it here for the down stuff. We'll do a couple of recalls to see how that's going. So now what I would do is, oh, did I tell you about with the sits, like if you're on a normal walk, like randomly doing it, okay? So with the sit and the emergency sits, you can blend it in with the other stuff that you're doing, you know, the heel, the recall, the stay, all that stuff. And then this, you want to keep it separate for now, okay? Because we had just taught this. So if you feel like she's got a really good grasp on it, after a few days, then you can try incorporating it with the other stuff. Now we're going to create a problem here, kind of like whenever we teach anything, there's typically a problem to create. So the emergency sits and the emergency downs look very similar, right? That when you tell her to sit now, you might find she's going to down, okay? So if she does that, you would simply just step in and tap until it props her up, and then move back, and then very quickly try to repeat. Okay, so actually let's do that. We're going to switch from this. We're going to go back to the sits to see if she does the sits. Because now you have to clarify for her. Okay, so it's a common problem. We'll see what happens. If all that's looking good, then I'd still isolate this and blend the emergency sits and everything else. Okay, go ahead and release her. Girl. Yeah, keep walking. Oh, did you tell her? You did? Okay. Right, so now step in front of her. Tap, tap. Step in a little closer. Tap. Right there, hold. Wait a moment. Now slowly back away. All right there, wait a moment. Now step in. Tap, tap, wait a moment. Now slowly step up, tap, tap, wait a moment. Yeah, wait a moment. Tap, tap, wait a moment. Let her think. There we go, wait a moment, good. Now just one little step away. Good, now back to her side and praise. Good girl. Try again. Right, now step in. Wait a moment. Step in. Tap. Wait. Tap. Wait. Good. One little tap. Wait. Wait a moment. Tap. Tap. Right. Wait a moment. Okay. There you go. We're going to try one more. Yep, right there. Better. Good girl, praise. Let's see if we can get two more. There we go. Good. Good. Right, so let her rest for a moment. Good. So, she started downing, right? So if you see that problem, you're essentially fixing it the same way you fixed when she was sitting first and not downing right away, like you're stepping in. So it's really two options. If she's in a down, it's either sit or stand, and if she's in a sit, it's either down or stand. Okay, and we've never taught the stand, so it makes it easier for them to figure out to go into the other position. And then after a couple of those, then she's still go, oh, okay, like it's this now. Okay, so that's just clarifying for her what each individual command means. Okay, So just if you see that happening, or like, you know, on the heel, sometimes after the down, we do a lot of down stuff, the dog will start downing on the heel. You would just pat without any leash pressure to prop her up so that she learns, so it deters her from doing that behavior. Okay? Questions about that? Okay. So we'll do a couple of recalls here. Make sure that's looking good. You help her out, Enrique? Yes. Good. And you can go ahead and drop your handle. Yeah. So we'll do some leash drag recalls here. Good. When you're ready.
Linnie, come.
Good girl. Add a girl. Up. Yep. Wait a moment. Add a girl. Good. Let's try a couple more.
So are these motion or stationary?
Moving. Yeah, moving. Good girl. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Try giving more slack. Yeah. When you're ready.
Linnie, come. Come.
Very good. Good girl. Tap, yep. Now here, once she settles, go ahead and do a couple of side steps. Good. Yeah, the girl. Good girl. Yeah, give her, like when you grab the leash, give like 6 to 8 feet of slack. Okay, wanna try it again? Go, go, go. Add a girl, add a girl. Keep going, keep going. I'm trying to get her further this time. There you go.
Linnie, come.
Tap.
Linnie, come.
There she goes. Add a girl. Good girl. Oh, the collar came loose. There it goes. Her collar came loose. Show her how to bow it. So what you can do with the excess here is you can bow it. And if you like now, like you can trim it as well. Although if you got to stick further, so I would just feed it through and then feed it back like that. There you go. You know, if you don't have the stacking out. But then I think what happened when you're pulling her away, it unclasped it because it wasn't notched in. It pretty much got there. Okay, good. So those recalls look good. So for this thing, for homework, incorporating emergency systems, what they're supposed to be doing. And then if you ever like take like a towel or something with you to practice place, like when you're doing your like little stuff, I tried it out just to like add something else in to help her differentiate between all these things. And then just keep the emergency down separately now. And then you start to see issues like I saw earlier, you know how to fix it. Okay? Otherwise, it's really, really good. Anything else? Good job. Keep practicing, and I like that you're like finding little spaces and really practicing without the leash there. And then I would like just little by little start practicing all the other stuff as well in that context. Okay, good job. Great break.